Good evening all, hope you're doing well. We were in a state of fear. We were in a fear phase, but we've actually just risen a little bit on the technical data, and because of that we're going to caution. Okay, so the fact that we went to fear is basically because the technical scores dumped and the herd are actually going long, and the S&P is looking quite bearish now because we're probably going to flip to sell by next week. Okay, so we had the heads up about it, so hopefully you guys are on the right track. Remember the big picture, the goal, I suppose the plan, I suppose that's the better word, is that for us in the QDB service, is that we're going to wait for this to go to zero. It will then go into positive territory. We'll have like some kind of like mini crash. Hopefully it's not too bad. And then once we go back to negative, we will probably fluctuate a little bit. And so we're going to look to go long when we go negative, and then we remain negative. So that will tell us that the herd is short, but they're holding on, right? So what we'll do is that we'll hold long as they hold short, and we'll know by using the risk calc. All right. So expect this to fluctuate a hell of a lot when we go to zero, positive, wait, negative, wait maybe a day, maybe 2 days, and then that should be enough. And then they'll be fully committed to their bearishness, and then they'll hold on. And this is going to be punishing the new bears, okay? Because the old bears got squished, and they probably had to leave the casino, okay? So that's the game plan for us, okay? And this is going to be such an amazingly profitable strategy. I just wish I did it the last, since January. It would have been amazing, but I let it slip and I wasn't paying that much attention. So this time round, when it happens, we'll definitely look to go long on risk. So you can get into crypto or indices or anything like something like that. If you want something high yielding and risky, it will be good. Buy the dip opportunity when that goes positive and then back negative. So that's the game plan. Okay. So VIX is still a positive, but we're just sort of teetering. Okay, so eye on that because the market's being moved by emotions, and this is the fear gauge. This is why VIX has got a stronger weighting on the technical scores. So this should be quite a good indication about where things are headed. So if that really pumps, it's probably very likely because the VIX is pumping. So it's basically, it's like a leading indicator for the indices. So eye on the VIX if you can. So we've got a thing in Discord where we can check VIX up at the top left and live prices up here. All right, so that's worth an eye. If it's green, it just tells us that we're positive on the day. When we go red, then we'll be negative. There is also something of note actually. We looked at some stats earlier in the trading chat. Now this, okay, since 1990, there was 20 times the S&P opened green, but eventually closed red for 3 consecutive days. And that's the last 3 days that we've had. Will it happen a 4th time? It's statistically unlikely, but it can happen. So just so you know, this week was actually quite unusual and quite uncommon that we opened green, but then we closed red for 3 days in a row. All right, so that is of note. Will it happen a 4th time? That's why we need to be checking the VIX. And if you've got your spare monitor, put this up on your spare screen, and then you can see the technical scores, and you can check your VIX there as well. So should be really, really helpful, very useful. And it is worth noting that the yields also rose today, and that aided a stronger USD. And that does coincide with our fundamental scores when we look at cross dollar. So for example, AU was a sell, and it's performing, it should be performing poorly. GU has got a poor score based on fundamentals. So if you remember, the market structure summary takes into account the country's GDP, unemployment, inflation change, the COT data, and also it takes into account the change in GDP and the change in the unemployment. So it's not just the unemployment or the GDP, but the change over time. So obviously what will happen is that the big banks, they will be looking at their macro fundamentals. They will be looking at sentiment, obviously, but they'll probably be more focused on the fundamentals. And so what we'll need to do as traders, we'll need to have a lot of patience, because what we'd ideally have is this to signal something, and then would have the score change on the QDB system to agree with the fundamentals. We see we were a little bit out of bonk with AU, right? Ideally, if that went red, that would be a great setup for us, because we'd have everything lined up, you know, and that's the sentiment and the technical. When we combine that with the fundamental, away we go. We can see we don't actually have much. Really, we've got Kiwi, CAD, Kiwi, Swiss, and then I suppose you've got EJ, and you've got Swiss yen as well, CAD yen for longs. Okay, so I'd just be really careful with the yen right now, because there's BOJ intervention around the corner, and they might do it. They might even do it like in the wee early hours, Sunday night going into Monday, and then if you had a yen position, you could easily get stopped out, and it's a little bit too much of a gamble. So remember, we want to use the market structure summary, and then we want to use the score change. So use this to confirm the MSS. All right. So if you get the colors to align, that's great, and then you've got your, you've got an amazing entry, and you can make lots of profit. Unfortunately, we are a little bit out of bonk, because we've got the geopolitics in play, and it's causing a lot of volatility. And but we really should be having a stronger dollar, going by the fundamentals. Okay, so just a quick one there, and then we can go and talk about the robot, which I'll need to decide which one it is. Which one is it? Yes, this one. Because I've got testing going on right now, and on my other machine, and it's not relevant to this video because I'm just testing trailing stops and things like that. So this is the current situation, is that we are seeing a stronger USD, and we probably should have a little bit of profit. If you remember, I made a video earlier, and what had happened is that we made this W pattern on the EURUSD, and it's like X, A, B, and then C, D. And I'll probably just draw it quickly so you just see what I mean. Yeah, so here, and so you can see how you can make a little bit of profit. It's just using a simple. I think we'd have to use that one. Yeah, we'd have to use that one. And then we had this humongous CD leg here. So this is like an impulse stop hunt. Now the thing is, with this setup, we've got descendant MA, and we made an XABCD completion. I thought maybe we may have come up to the MA, but it's looking like we've made this harmonic sequence, and we've completed it, and this is the sell setup. So this is the bias, and then we've had a technical bias as well, and we've had a Twitter trigger. We had a Twitter API trigger for that sell. So we've done okay today. We were up 2R, but we had one loss, so we're actually up 1R. If this goes to loss, then we'll just be flat again, and that'll be the second day in a row, which isn't that great, but we've had a good week, and also we're really risk mitigated as well. So if we were to get stopped out here, we're just down 10 pips, which is fine. But so the idea here is that we do have a nice move, and then the trading stop kicks in, and then we can get a good R, which is your risk multiple, what you're prepared to risk and what you get as reward. So we're risking 10 pips. If we get 20 pips, it's a really, really good trade-off. And we get 30 pips, that's a free R. That's fantastic. If we come all the way down there, for some reason, if we do have a big risk event, sudden, the dollar will get bid, and then this would fall. So this is why we're having an ambitious TP, in case we do have some kind of geopolitical risk event, and then we're going to profit very, very nicely. It sounds horrible that we're profiting on fear and stuff like that, and stuff like war, but it is trading, and we're here to make money, and we're also trying to stipulate our losses and our risk as well. The key thing to trading is to know your exit, and if you know your exit, then you can project what you can get as a profit. and that's it. So when you probably trade, and you'll probably find yourself getting frustrated, and what you're doing is that you're widening your stop. But if you widen your stop, say here for example, then you know your TP has to be at least equidistant, and then you only get a 1R. You know, so it's kind of nice to have a wider stop, but you know, if you're going to look to try and make money long term, it's going to be quite tricky, because I don't think we'll really get down there, but maybe we will. So that's just a robot there. We have a Telegram bot now in Telegram, funnily enough, and you just click that, and what it does, it just clicks links, and then you can join us for free. Don't forget, we have that free tier, but we also have paid plans starting with $5 a month, going up to 30, and then there's a Discord server, which is quite cool. And there's a video there, what plan should I choose? Because there's a lot of questions I get, you know, what does this offer? Why should I go for this tier? Why should I go for that tier? What's the difference between the tiers? And what do you get? And so that should be quite useful. What I'll probably do is I'm going to add some more stuff to the bot, this QDB info bot, because we have a lifetime plan, which many of you probably aren't aware of. So I need to add that, and I'll just populate it with some useful things. But it's quite cool. It's quite a neat little robot, very simple, easy to do, which I could even do a video on if you wanted to make a bot in Telegram. It's dead simple. And so that's it. So remember, we should have a stronger dollar. We are in a caution phase, so be careful. Obviously, we may go to fear if the technical scores drop. And remember, statistically, according to Discord, is that we probably should have a green day, because you know that's a long time ago, and so it's a bit of a strange, uncommon week that we've experiencing right now. So we probably should have a green day today, but we'll have to wait and see. So remember to trade safely, and I'll speak to you soon. One and all, we have a strong disclaimer that we need to stipulate. The fact is that it's really, really easy to lose money while trading, and you absolutely must have risk management at the forefront of your mind at every trade decision. Before you enter, you need to know where your exit is. You don't just enter willy-nilly. You need to stipulate your stop loss, and you need to know about your sizing as well. All this information is in the Discord as well, and it's also on YouTube. So if you don't know your sizes, and then you don't know your stop loss, you're going to encounter horrific losses, okay? And also it's highly risky, and the stuff that I put out on a daily basis, it's for your own information. It's not to be traded on its own. You need to be used with a trading system and with a risk management at the forefront of that system at all times. You can't trade without the risk management, because you will blow your money. And I dare say, if you're watching this video, you would have lost a lot of money, and you've blown maybe an account or even several. So it's absolutely critical that you've got a very keen sense of risk management at everything you do. It's like crossing a busy street. You wouldn't cross the road without looking left and right. You'd wait for the traffic light, and then it would go from red, amber, green, and then once it went to green, you'd still be careful. Okay, so just a quick video there, and be really careful. It's a highly volatile market. In fact, it's probably the most volatile market you could ever get into, and while it can make you a lot of money, it can also cause catastrophic losses. So be careful at all times.